Have you ever wondered what happens after ever after? Have you always yearned to know if the end is really the end? No? Well, you're gonna find out anyway. We're your hosts, Andy, Tammy, and Gina. This is Two Division.
Hello guys, welcome once again to Two Division Disney Sequels Explained. I'm your host Gina, and as always I'm joined by my two beautiful, funny, amazing, and wonderful co-hosts, Andy and Tammy. How are you guys?
Hello everyone, I'm glad to be back. We're It's a Sunday, it's the morning, and we're ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah. We all had like late nights last night, but we are here and we are good to go, and we are ready to get back into the podcast because last time we were here, we were doing the Peter Pan recording, and I said, well, I hope we can get back to our weekly schedule. And I was boo-boo the fool because it's been 2 months. I literally remember we recorded that the day before Valentine's Day. It's currently April 28th.
Oh my god.
I don't know when this is coming out. So, it's been a while, but a lot has happened. And so we apologize, but we're back. And I don't want to say we'll be back next week because I don't want to jinx it. So we'll be back. Anyway, so how are you, Tammy?
I'm tired, but I'm good.
You sound tired.
It's okay.
But
I think I'm getting sick. That's the problem.
No.
I think after I finished work and student teaching, I think all the stress and lack of energy just compiled on me and hit me like an avalanche. So.
Yeah, that's like what happens when you finish finals and just you can allow yourself to get sick.
Exactly. Like your body you're like, okay, now that you're done, you can be sick, which I don't appreciate, but fine.
It is what it is.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just finished my cup of coffee. I'm good to go. I have energy, so let's do this, shall we? Let's talk about 101 Dalmatians. So yeah, that's the episode today. It's 101 Dalmatians. Actually, 101 Dalmatians 2.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. I honestly don't know why they just didn't name it 102 Dalmatians.
Because there aren't two Dalmatians. It's just
that's a good point.
There will be false advertisement.
Even Pongo doesn't know how many Dalmatians there are.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, so before we get into 101 Dalmatians 2, let's talk about 101 Dalmatians, the original one. My memory is lacking. What year did that movie came out? Wait, no, I got 1996 out of Google, but that's the live action, so don't trust that.
That's so wrong.
Yeah, so 101 Dalmatians, it came out in 1961, exactly. A long time ago. And it's one of Disney's, I think, classic movies. I guess I don't think everyone has actually watched this movie because it's one of those classics that kind of fall off the radar for some people, in my experience. But it's a classic nonetheless. And what are some of your memories of 101 Dalmatians, guys?
For me, the one thing I really, really remember about 101 Dalmatians is that crazy ass look Cruella has when she's driving.
Yep.
And I don't remember much of it because, like you said, it falls off the radar, and that's true for me. I didn't really watch it. I didn't realize how good it was, and I was watching it while I was tired and a little sick last night, and I was just like, this is a good time. I'm enjoying this. It was really fun. I just love the old Disney movies are just super charming.
Yeah,
that's the one way to put it. They're charming and they've got this different feel to them, which is why watching them back to back with a sequel is so frustrating.
That is like a recurring theme for all of this movies.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't dislike the sequels as much if I didn't watch it right after watching a great old movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
But other than that, I don't have too much memories of that because it fell off the radar. I didn't watch it a lot as a kid, but I did. As I was watching it, I do start recognizing a lot of the characters, like Lucy the Goose, Sergeant Tibbs. I was like, hey, I know these. These they're in my mind somewhere. But yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Andy?
Well, yeah, like you said, I didn't really watch this movie a lot. Of course, I watched it because, like I have these images in the back of my head, which tell me that I watched it and that I remember it. But I don't even know when was the last time that I watched it. Maybe it was like in some morning in Disney Junior that it was I caught it and I watched like 10 minutes or something. But before that, I guess no. It wasn't one of my regulars,
Mm-hmm.
but I watched it, and this is a time when I think this is the first movie when Disney started to use Xerox. I think that's like the kind of animation to save money,
Mm,
and that's why it looks like kind of sketchy and kind of, I don't know. It has
yeah.
its style. It has a style,
I love
and
it.
I love that style. Because when people discuss it, they say, "Oh, this is when Disney animation changed, and it wasn't the same." It's like, okay, it wasn't the same, but it was like another era, and for me, I liked it. I like it a lot.
Mm,
Because they own it. Like this movie knew it was going to change how it looked, so they just changed everything. Like I love the initial sequence with the spots. It's just so
Yeah.
cute. And oh my god, all the puppies, they animated them so cute. How do they keep animating so much cuteness in animals in
I
this in these
know.
Disney movies? Like the one that's chubby, and you can see
The
like
least.
the weight of
Yeah.
his butt. It's
He's
just
adorable.
I related to him
adorable.
so much.
Me too. Me
I'm
too.
hungry. I
I'm
actually had to eat. I
hungry.
actually had dinner right before I watched the movie, and then once Rolly came on, I was like, I need to eat some more. And
Inspiration.
I actually have one more memory of the
Hmm.
movie, and that's the scene of all the women or little girl with their dogs that look just like them is one
Oh
of my
yeah.
Right.
favorite
Hmm.
scenes ever
It's
in an animated
it's
movie.
it's really charming. That it's
Right.
this
Yeah.
it's the time when Disney just
Yeah.
allow themselves to have scenes with contemplation and just
It's one of my favorites.
there. Okay,
Like
I
that
think I'm
stuck with me as a kid.
Oh, and I remember that when I met Cruella when I was a kid on Disneyland, that I was really freaked out by her, and that's how I remember it.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, every time Cruella came on screen,
Amazing.
I got freaked out, and I'm an adult.
she 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 is kind of freaky.
Did you know that the woman who plays Cruella
Yeah,
Deville
her
is the narrator for Cinderella?
What?
She does the opening narration for Cinderella.
Hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen Cinderella in English, like completely in English. I think I've seen parts of it in English, but I don't think I've ever seen it like beginning to end in
Mm.
English. But I have to check that. I was just gonna say like it's one like those animators that animate a lot of villains, and then one day they get assigned a hero and they pull it off amazingly, and it's like yeah, that's the range I like in my Disney workers. I don't
Workers.
Disney Legends stuff. I don't know.
know. Well, for me, I have like a I don't want to say complicated story with 101 Dalmatians. The thing is that
Oh my god.
like listen, I had the VHS for this movie, but I didn't know that I had it because the VHS said 101 Dalmatians, and then it has a subtitle in Spanish. I don't know if for Spain it's the same, but for Latin America, the subtitle is "The Night of the Cold Noses." I don't know
I
why.
mean,
A
that's accurate.
classic.
I mean, it's
A classic.
accurate.
It is, and I just like I remember going through my VHSs, and that VHS didn't have a case. I don't know why. Someone lost it in one part of my family history. So that one didn't have a case. So I just read 101 Dalmatians, The Night of the Cold Noses, and I thought it was the live action one. I was like,
Oh.
there's no way like the animated one is this one. And I was like 8 years old at this time, you know? I was
Mm.
like, I don't think this is the animated one. And I just never bothered to check. I thought it was just the live action one with Glenn Close. So I never
Oh, that's so
watched that on
good.
the VHS. But yeah, but I wanted to watch the animated movie, and I was just like, yeah, I guess I don't have it, and I always did, and I just found that out like years later when I realized that that was actually the subtitle for the animated movie, and I was like, oh, damn it. So
That's kind of funny.
that's why I never actually watched the 101 Dalmatians at home. I guess I watched it sometime on Disney, but the thing is that I don't really know if I actually watched it or if I just watched the live action one on the theater or somewhere, and I just kind of, because they have so many similar scenes. So when I watched 101 Dalmatians, the animated one, I just kind of related to the live action one. So I don't really know if I ever actually watched 101 Dalmatians, the animated one, like complete.
Yep.
You
And that,
you weren't kidding when you said you had a complicated history with this movie.
yeah, because my memory is all juggly with it, because I do remember, like I'm conscious of the movie and I remember watching it sometime, but yeah, I don't really have a full memory of sitting down and watching it like
Mhm.
other movies.
You know, me neither, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird. I don't know why. Well, I don't know why, because I didn't know I had it. So
Well, you do.
yeah, I do now. Maybe I should look for that VHS. Um, yeah. So, but I watched that for the podcast, and I think it's a lovely, beautiful little film. I
It
think
is.
Mhm.
It
the
really is.
animation, even though it looks sketchy, I think it gives it its own style. It gives it its own like
Charm.
personality for the movie.
Hmm.
Like no other Disney movie looks like this, I think. I mean, some like the Aristocats
Aha,
and
yeah, I was going
some
to say there is a
others
cat.
of
And
the
Jungle Book,
time,
maybe.
they do look sketchy, but this one does not look as sketchy, and it's like more stylistic more
I think
than
they own it more.
just sketchy. Yeah, they
Mm.
own it more. I think
It's
that's
more
what
for
I
the
was
story.
trying to get to. Like, yeah, yeah, and it does fit the story, because it does feel like an illustrated book for children, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good way to like phrase it
Yeah.
because I remember Sleeping
Yeah,
Beauty was supposed to be like a moving tapestry, like in royal and
Mhm.
like
yeah.
in palaces, and this is like an illustrated children's book, and that's beautiful. That's just great. Was this after Lady and the Tramp?
Yes.
Okay, because I did see a couple of the characters in here, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, like
Yeah,
exact.
yeah.
They
Like it's
they,
one of
they
the
make
most
cameos.
famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the most famous cases of Disney cameos.
Oh, it
Like,
is.
but I think it's more due to the fact that they wanted to save on animation, so they just used whatever
They had the
And that makes
other
mono.
sense.
dogs they
That
had
makes
laying
sense.
around, and
That
just
makes
made
sense.
this great Disney dog expanded universe, I guess.
Oh my god,
Speaking
yes.
of extended universes,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
The Avengers Endgame just came
yeah.
out this weekend, guys. So we all are kind of in an Avengers mood here
And
in the
instead
world.
of talking about an endgame, we're talking about
I only want to.
Where
Yeah,
Life
Web
Path.
just
Life
to
Path.
Patches London
exactly.
Adventure.
Amazing. I
We're
love my
committed.
life.
We're committed.
Life decisions.
Yeah, just to wrap up, like memories for the 101 Dalmatians. I do think. I mean, I talk a lot of shit about live actions, and I always say that they suck. But I do think that the live action movies for 101 Dalmatians kind of are apart from that, because they were
Yeah.
made a long time ago, like in
Hmm.
90s, early 2000s, and it wasn't a part of a mechanical,
Mm.
economical gimmick to make more money. I think it was just really like, oh, let's see what this movie looks like in live action, and they had Glenn Close, and it was amazing. And I remember enjoying the live action movie when it came out on TV, and I really, really liked the second one, 102 Dalmatians. That one is actually called 102 Dalmatians. And I haven't watched it in like 15 years, not like no kidding. But I remember it being a good time, and Glenn Close did a really good job. I remember very vividly this scene. I don't know from which one it was, but she's like on a bridge, and everything is
Dude,
white.
it's the second one.
Oh yeah, so there you go. It's all white, and it has spots all over the place, and she's just like going insane. And I always thought that looked so cool, because like even the people walking around, their faces
Yeah.
are painted white with spots. And as a kid, I was just like, "Oh my God, what is this?"
It blew my mind,
It
honestly.
it blew my little girl mind as well.
Oh,
I was like, "Oh my God, this is so cool." And yeah, and also there's this scene where Cruella invites people over for dinner, and she has like this really big red dress on, and she looks so crazy. And the food actually really looked good in my memory. And I think they're good movies. If you've never checked them out, I think it's worth the time. And yeah, so I don't know if like the spirit of the original one lives through the live action ones, because that's very hard. And the original one is like 60 minutes long or 70. It's not
Hmm.
a long movie. But I don't think they're that bad, the live action ones.
No, they're actually really good. I
That's
really, really enjoy it,
like
and I
those
love the
are the
second
only
one.
ones those are the only ones that I actually give like a pass. And everything
I've got
else,
to, I've got to check it out.
yeah, do definitely do, because they're fun. I remember them being fun. There was a parrot in the second one that
It
was really
says,
funny.
The parrot that thought he was a dog.
Yeah, the parrot that thought it was a dog and it barked, and yeah, it was very fun. I want to watch them.
Yeah.
So like, let's jump into the main course. Let's
mhm.
talk about 101 Dalmatians to
Wow,
Patch's
what a main
Adventure. I think that's
course.
the subtitle.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is. Good morning to us. So, so what do you guys? Had you guys watched this movie before the podcast? Do you
Yeah,
have any memories? Do you like it? Do
vaguely.
you
I like
don't like it?
when I was a
Uh,
kid, I think I watched it, but I have no memory of it, and I think that speaks to how I like it.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't like it.
Spoilers.
I don't like it.
That
There's
speaks
there.
to how I like it, which is I don't.
That's adorable.
Amazing. How about you, Andy? How about
Um,
you, Andy?
I hadn't. I never did. I don't know why. I think it was never on
Oh.
television when I watched television. But I have one memory. I have one memory of the existence of this movie. If I think this is the only image that I had of this movie before I started to get into like Disney and stuff, and I started to just wanted to watch every single movie. It was a cereal box. It was a cereal box,
Mm.
and it had the characters, and it was 101 Dalmatians 2 Patches on the Adventure. And was like, wow, I never knew there was a sequel to this movie. So I was really confused. And that's the only memory that I have of this movie. And it was never important for me.
I do remember I don't remember actually watching it, but I do remember that I watched it at some point. Like I rented it out of a Blockbuster or something, just because I
Wow.
thought it looked cute, I guess. But I don't really have a lot of memory. I think I only ever watched it that one time. But I do remember Patch. I always was aware of Patch's like existence as a main character in a movie,
Uh-huh.
and I remember the climax of the movie with the double decker bus and the chase.
Oh.
And I remembered vaguely that it was about Patch's favorite TV star. Like I remember
Mhm.
the plot vaguely, but that was it. Like I only ever watched it once when I was like 7 or 8 years old. I don't know, and then never watched it again until for the podcast. And yeah, so that's basically it. And I okay, so I'm gonna start. The
Uh-huh.
movie is about Patch, which is one of the 99 puppies, and he's feeling a little bit down because he doesn't feel like he's special enough because he has 98 brothers and sisters that look exactly like him, and he's like, what if I'm only one of 101, like, and I'm not anything special? And he's having like a midlife crisis at like 7. And he's a big fan of this TV show with a dog called Thunderbolt, and like he's the biggest fan of the show, like the biggest. I relate to Patch in that sense because like
Oh.
he knows every episode, he knows exactly what Thunderbolt does, exactly when he's gonna do it, and
You watch Star Wars?
yeah. Exactly. And at the beginning of the movie, he's like sitting in front of the TV, and then his mom comes and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm saving the best spot." I tried to do a British accent. It didn't come off.
But it
Uh,
has to be like a fake British accent, please.
I think it's kind of adorable. I know it's fake, but it sounds cute to me. And like I have to save the best spot in front of the TV, and then I think it's Roger or someone who's like, "Oh, come over for dinner, guys," and then Patch gets run over by 98 puppies, and everyone like drags him out of the living room into their kitchen, and then no one lets him eat because it's too crowded. And then everyone is done eating, and they go back to the living room, and he's left behind. So he loses his spot. He has no dinner. He has no sense of uniqueness, and you feel so sorry for this little guy. We
A
just want
little
to watch
puppy.
his TV show, and I'll give the movie credit that it made me feel like claustrophobic in that sense, because like I think it does make a good job at kind of conveying what it would be like to live with 98 brothers and sisters, and it's like so crazy. It's insane, and I don't ever want to live in a house like that. It's batshit insane. And another thing that's batshit insane is Roger, because he's like singing around the living room like spot 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 spot, and it's like, what are you doing? Like like the song is so stupid. Okay, but it's catchy.
It got him a golden
And the thing is that
whatever,
they're
golden
preparing
record.
for to move to. Yeah, it does. At the credit in the credits, it says like it was some kind of autobiography, like a biopic. Like at the end, it goes like, Roger went on to win a golden record for his single spots, and you're like, okay, I guess. I don't know. I think you know what I think happened. I think Cruella bought that song like 1,000
Oh,
times or
okay.
1,000,000 times just so she could listen to it, because at one point in the movie she's also like spot 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 spots, and you're like, what does it say about Roger that he is in the
Oh my
same
god.
mindset as Cruella at one
Oh my
point?
god. That's going to be so good for the third part of this trilogy. Guys.
Yeah.
They're going to team up.
So if you remember from the original one, at the end, Roger is like, "We'll move to a plantation, a Dalmatian plantation." And for me, I don't know
Mhm.
if it's because I don't speak English as my first language, but the word plantation to me sounds wrong. Like it sounds like they're going to harvest them, and it feels kind
We're
of
going to
off.
plant Dalmatians. They're sprouted out of the earth.
Like not necessarily plants, but like they're just
Exploited.
bringing them over there to like reproduce and have more Dalmatians. It feels wrong. That
Oh
word.
my
I
god.
get what, no, I get why you would think that.
And I don't know why I don't like the word plantation, but it's okay. The thing is
Mhm.
that they're moving, like at the beginning of the 101 Dalmatians too, they're moving into that Dalmatian plantation. And the show ends, and Pongo starts counting them, and like you see that this is like a recurring thing that he does, like counting them over and over again just to make sure that he has everyone. And like I understand it, but can you imagine
Oh.
the consuming time that he loses counting the dogs? It's insane. And
Yeah.
I don't remember how it goes, but Patch comes up to him and he's like, "Oh, right, because they're all asleep." Sorry, I'm just remembering. And Patch can't sleep, so he goes over to his dad, and his dad is like counting in his sleep. And
Poor
Patch is
dad.
like, Am I unique, dad, or am I just one of 101?" And then Pongo goes like 101 because he's counting in his sleep, and Patch is like, "Oh," and
Aww.
he feels sad about it because he thinks his dad doesn't think he's special. And then,
Well, he doesn't. No, I'm kidding.
no,
Oh.
well, he doesn't, because then the next scene they're all going to the plantation and they forget Patch. They
Mm.
forget, like freaking Home Alone kind of shit. Like they're counting them, and somehow like Pongo counts erroneously and he doesn't count Patch. I don't remember the circumstances, but Patch gets left behind and everyone just moves on. Like they go to the plantation and nobody realizes that Patch is gone.
I think we were of a scene with Perdita. That's her name.
Yeah.
I don't know, like doing the face with them, doing
Like
the
the
face of the
mom.
mom from the Home Alone.
Yeah,
Patch.
that would have been amazing, actually. And then I think Patch is like watching the TV, and then a commercial comes on about Thunderbolt, and if you want to be like his new sidekick or something, and he's like, "Well, since my family left me, I guess I'm going to that audition."
Mm-hmm.
And this little puppy just goes out of the house and goes into the place where they're doing auditions, and he tries to audition for the part of Thunderbolt's sidekick. And the audition is that you have to bark, and then you have this montage of dogs barking at in very like different styles, and it's actually kind of funny.
I like the old
And
one.
yeah, that I like the one that just goes on and on and on. It's like ooh, and it doesn't stop for like 3 hours.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and so yeah, Patch goes up to the stage and his bark is like a squeak, and everyone makes fun of him. And then the plot starts because Thunderbolt finds him, and Patch is like really excited to meet him. And Thunderbolt has a sidekick that's called Lil Lightning. That's a corgi.
Oh.
And little do you know that Lil Lightning is actually the villain of this movie.
That I feel
Because
so betrayed by a corgi.
yeah,
Why is the corgi a
yeah.
villain?
Who
That
looks at a
is right.
corgi? Who actually looks at a corgi and is like, "Yep, this looks like a villain."
Oh my
Like,
god, this is the start of the surprise villains for Disney. It
Oh my
started
god.
way before we knew. Before.
yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah,
Yeah.
101 Visions to groundbreaking like that. And well, I'm gonna just like, okay, so Lil Lightning has a plan to kick Thunderbolt out of the show, and he goes to Thunderbolt and he goes like, "Yeah, dude, they're killing you off the show because they think like you're getting too old or something." And Thunderbolt, of course, logically thinks, "Well, if I prove myself to the producers, then they won't kill me off." And with the help of Patch, who knows absolutely every single episode of the show, he starts trying to do something heroic that will get people attention. And while he's doing all that, Lil Lightning is like, "Oh well, I guess Thunderbolt is gone, and I have to be the new protagonist of the show." And like that's the whole thing that he wants. He just wants the show for himself. And while Patch and Thunderbolt are doing their thing, Cruella de Vil is doing her own. And this is my favorite part of the movie because it's absolutely insane and it's like one of the weirdest subplots in a Disney sequel. Like I put it up with Belle's Magical World, or I don't know what of the sequels it was, where um Lumiere's girlfriend,
Tries to kill Belle.
Gets jealous of Belle.
yeah,
I
and
love that.
she plans to kill them all. Like this subplot is not as crazy as that, but this new character that comes up is amazing, guys. She's my favorite
Darts.
character in this movie. It's a it's a pain. Well, the thing is that Cruella walks into an art gallery and she's like, "Oh my god!" At this painting that's just like a white background and a spot in the middle, and she's like, "This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I want to meet the artist." And the artist is like right behind her, of course, and it's a very dramatic artist. I don't know if he's French or German or whatever, but his name is Lars. And he's like, "Oh, finally someone that understands my art. I love you. You're my new muse." And then they just start trying to. He tries to make a new piece of art that will impress Cruella, and his art is just like variations of a white background with black spots. And Cruella's like, "Yeah, but this is not good enough. This is not good enough." And the whole thing is that to get him inspired, she goes to find the little Dalmatians that she tried to kidnap already and bring them to him so he will get inspired. And I love this part of the movie, and this is like way like almost at the climax, but she's coming up with a plan to go to the Dalmatians, and she goes like,
Dalmatian plantation.
yeah. Well, she doesn't know it's a Dalmatian plantation. She thinks they're still at their house, but the thing is that she's like, art cannot be stopped by restraining orders. Insane. Like you don't know how insane Cruella is in this movie. And she
Oh my
has
god.
this storied affair with the painter who's just wants to please her, and it's like absolutely insane. Like I love that
Why would you say torrid affair?
because they're like, oh my darling, oh my muse, I don't know, and like
Yeah, I know.
like a very passionate, like
Yeah, it's weird.
relationship. It is
Yeah.
like you wouldn't
It's
think of
uncomfortable.
Cruella in a that yeah, it is. It truly is.
Tammy's just there in the corner, like not trying not to think about it.
But I think it's hilarious. I think it's absolutely hilarious. And the character of Lars, I think it's the best part of the movie because he's actually fun and like I think the voice actor, I don't know who he is, but I think he just
Martin
had the best
Short.
time. Oh yeah, I think he had the best time because the character is just insane. And well, the thing. Anyway, let's wrap it up. The thing is that in order for Thunderbolt to prove himself, they get the call that the Dalmatians have been kidnapped again by Cruella, and they go to save them. And meanwhile, Little Lightning goes along to try to manipulate the whole thing so that he doesn't get to save the day. And he goes to Thunderbolt and he goes like, "Oh, I think you should just attack." While Patch is like, "No, you should just sneak around and get the puppies out." And Thunderbolt's like, "I'm going to attack," and he does, and he gets immediately knocked out by Cruella.
Yep.
And it's up to Patch to save the day, of course. So he rises to the occasion and he saves his brothers and sisters. And then this whole thing with the double-decker bus happens for some reason because they needed some kind of climax. So all the puppies get into the double-decker bus, and Cruella and Oras and Jasper, I think those are their names.
Yeah.
They chase them through London that for some reason has no traffic that day, so they are able to just drive fast around the streets.
Because they didn't have time. They didn't have money to animate all of the other vehicles.
Yeah.
Did it also seem like there were not 101 Dalmatians when
Of
they were
course
I
there
think
kidnapped?
it
were
was
not.
like 1 or 2 Dalmatians, and it was like
20
copy
Dalmatians.
pasted,
It was
copy
like
pasted, copy
It was like
pasted
20 Dalmatians.
at most. Yeah. Like you can make the case that they're off screen, but like, come on, guys.
It was ridiculous.
Make an effort.
Yeah. So they end up at this like dead end, and Thunderbolt has his heroic moment by playing that he's having a heart attack. I just made me laugh with that because I think it sounds insane. And he pretends he's having a heart attack to distract Cruella and the bad guys, and the puppies run off, and then they put the double-decker bus on backwards. I don't know, like in reverse.
Reverse.
And they they end up like putting Cruella and the bad guys into the river. And then the day is saved. The puppies are saved. Little Lightning gets his show destroyed by the bus at some point, and I laughed out loud at that part. I thought it was hilarious. And and the best part of the movie actually is when Lars, when he gets the puppies, Cruella is like, I don't want you to make a painting of the puppies. I want you to make art out of the puppies. And he's like, no.
I'm not a sicko.
Yeah, I'm not a sicko. He's like so offended. He's like, I'm not going to hurt these little puppies, and he's just in love with the puppies, and that's the most relatable thing in the movie. Is like
His heart.
He's holding like 10 of them. And he's like, I'm not gonna hurt these little guys, and then Cruella like ties him up to a spinning wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane.
And she throws like darts at him, like for the movie that looks like a cartoon episode. A lot of crazy shit happens. And So the thing is that Lars wants to help Cruella make art out of the puppies, and he gets redeemed. You know, redeemed villains.
Redeemed villains.
Yeah, and yeah. So they saved the puppies. Get back to the Dalmatian plantation. Patch doesn't feel like he's not unique anymore because he realizes that he's a hero and he has value of its own, and he's actually a real hero, not like Thunderbolt who didn't know how to do anything out of the TV show. And yeah, so everyone is happy at the end of it except Cruella, who gets put into an insane asylum. And that's how the movie ends. And then you get a post-credit scene. Did you guys watch the post-credit scene?
I did.
It's actually kind of cute.
It's cute. I kind of liked it.
Yeah, it's just
fine.
Thunderbolts and Patch. During the TV show, Patch is the new sidekick now, and then all the puppies help with the bad guy, and it's actually kind of cute. And that's 101 Dalmatians too.
They're also were pioneers in the post-credit scenes before Marvel. I'm just saying.
Oh wow. 101 Dalmatians 2 is so groundbreaking, guys.
Patch is going to defeat Thanos.
Do not give it.
Oh my god.
It's the credit that.
Spoilers, Andy. It's serious business.
Spoilers alert. So let's talk about what we liked and didn't like about the movie, guys. I've talked a lot, so I'll just let you take the show now.
Tammy?
Okay, what I liked. I liked the post-credit scene.
Tammy's like,
I enjoyed. I'm gonna let's get the quickest thing out first. I liked the post-credit scene. I thought that was really cute, and I enjoyed that a little bit. I liked Cruella de Vil. I don't know. I think it's the voice. I think it's because that's what I grew up with, so it was familiar. I was I really liked how she performed. I don't particularly like the character and what they did with her, but I liked the performance of the actress because it just seemed to fit Cruella de Vil better for me than the old one. But that's probably because I maybe grew up with this voice in the TV show or maybe in my subconscious this movie. But I liked the voice actress of Cruella de Vil, and apparently she's the one that does Lady Tremaine and Queen Grimhild too, for modern right now.
Okay. For the sequels as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I liked that. The animation's decent. It's okay.
It's very cartoony. I think it does.
Yeah.
It's the one that looks the most like a TV cartoon.
Yeah.
I think it was I think there
this
was
is a pilot.
What?
I think this is the pilot for the cartoon.
See,
I was gonna say I think there was a TV show with the Dalmatians.
No, there was.
There was, but it was But see, this is the thing. That's I didn't expect anything, but that's just why I hated it. I didn't hate it. I just don't like it. I didn't like watching it. I was super bored. There were no stakes. It's a Disney sequel, of course, but I don't know. Just coming from 101 Dalmatians, I was during the climax, I was stressed. I was are these puppies gonna make it? I know they're gonna make it, but I was still really invested, and I was just waiting to see what they did because it's also been a long time since I've seen it, so I don't know what happens. And I know I have to get to that crazy scene where Cruella's in the car chasing them, and I haven't gotten there yet. So it was a good movie. They set it up well. It was well written. They built it up, and going from that to this, it was just, I didn't want to. It was a TV show. It had TV show stakes. And I get that it's a Disney sequel, but I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't in the original film, but here they do nothing with either Roger or Anita. In the original film, they're so charming.
Tammy, could you say it again because I lost you.
Okay, I don't like what they did to Roger and Anita in the old film. In the original film, they were so charming. Even with little screen time, you cared about them. You liked it when they were on screen. At least I did. I was really
best Disney couple.
Yeah, exactly. I was really charmed by their personality, their voice actors. Who, by the way, did you guys know this one too? Because the voice of Grimsby in The Little Mermaid is the guy who voiced Roger. in 101
What?
Dalmatians.
Oh
And
my
like
god.
I could hear it. I could hear it.
Makes sense.
Oh my god. Oh my
And
god.
no one knew during the making of the
Oh
movie.
yeah, I
What?
think I remember that. I think I heard it like on
He
Disorder
just he like
podcast or
mentioned
something.
it. Yeah, he like mentioned it and was like was
Yeah,
like,
like
"What?"
that's hilarious.
And I don't know, like there's something about it loses its charm. I think I said the same thing about Lady and the Tramp too. And Lady and the Tramp, like of course there's like what 40, 50 years of difference. So of course there's going to be a different style, but it just loses the charm and the what made the original so good. Like I don't know what it is about their animal movies in the 50s and 60s, but it was just like there's something about them that's so charming. Like they really get you into a dog's world,
Mm.
and it's
Yeah.
really nice to watch and experience. And here, they don't do any of that.
Yeah.
It's just you're not in their world, you're watching their world. It's I don't know how to
Mm.
explain it.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think the charm of the like we were talking about the charm of the original animation and how it had its personality, and then this one definitely just feels like a cartoon
Yeah.
because that's what it is basically. And it didn't really bother me because I think in my mind I had made my mind that it was a cartoon, like a TV cartoon, so it didn't really jump at me that the animation looked so cartoony. But you're right, and what you're saying about Anita and Roger, like you're definitely like on the right spot because the character animation of Roger and Anita in the first movie is one of the most charming that I've seen in like human characters,
Mm-hmm.
and the relationship that they have, and that it's conveyed like mainly through the way that they move around each
Mm-hmm.
other.
Or how they look at
Like
each other.
there's
Like Anita's
yeah,
like
like I
little
love
look
the
to
moment.
Roger when he's playing Cruella Deville is like so cute. Like
Yeah,
just
I
that
love it.
little
Like
look,
that
like you
that
can see
scene is
so much.
yeah, that whole scene with like the Cruella de Vil song, and like I love the moment where he kind of just like he's backing her up against the wall, and he just grabs her shoulders, and they're just like
It's cute.
their foreheads are together, and he just like they're just staring at each other's eyes, and it's like so cute. Like you're like oh, relationship goals.
Yeah.
And Roger is so charming, and Anita is so charming, and you
Yes.
just feel a love for them just by the way that they move
And
and how they act. And I
yeah.
don't know. I mean, if you have 101 kids, I think it's gonna take a toll on you as well, and maybe you will lose some of your charm as
That's
well.
a good point. But like I don't like there's just something else. Like what made like when I was watching the film, I didn't realize how much a part Pongo and Perdita played in rescuing their children, and I love that. Like it was just you were watching these parents just go all in for their kids, and I liked how Pongo was just like, yeah, the humans can't help us. It's up to us. They can't do shit.
He's
Like
so right.
we've got to do it, and like you just see them on this journey to take care of their kids. And like in the second film, I get it, it's a sequel and we gotta focus on the babies, but like they like literally go to London in the first half, and then they you don't see them
They do nothing.
until the end. Like literally
Yeah.
they drive off in their car, and then you see when everything's done they drive in there. It's ridiculous. It's just
Yeah, and I think the only reason that they realize that Patch is gone is because he is like in the newspaper next to Thunderbolt, and they're like Patch, and like it's like do you
he's the
even
he's the
like
most noticeable one.
yeah,
He's
he's
got
like
it.
the most talkative one as
And he has
well.
And he's one of his original ones. He's like biologically his
Yeah, it's one of his
father.
biological sons.
and he has a freaking patch in his eye. You would notice if he's not
Freaking
there.
Pat.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, can I just say that I found it weird that Pat was the protagonist of this movie because the movie, like the original one, really focused on Lucky, and I thought
No.
Lucky was going to be the protagonist in
Mm-hmm.
this video, but he did appear and he was so nice. He's such a good dog.
Oh, Lucky's
They're
the
all really
best.
good boys.
Yeah, they are. Lucky is like the best.
No.
And yeah, I think it's weird that they focus on, but I think Patch is a more marketable name than Lucky. So I
Mm,
think that's why they went for him, and he has a more distinctive look. I think
yeah.
so.
Mm-hmm.
That's also why.
Mhm.
Andy, what do you think about it?
Well, this is kind of the most irrelevant movie that we've reviewed, I think.
I honestly think so too.
Yeah. And this is like the most cartoonish one also, and this is definitely just a segue to the TV show, which I watched. I watched that TV show.
Yeah, and I
And
enjoyed it.
yeah, because I don't know, but this subplot with Cruella, I think this happened a lot of times that she just like fixed on something to not fix on the puppies, and then she just ends up fixing on the puppies again. But I think in one part of the show, they actually kind of Cruella is kind of reformed, and she's like kind of part of the family or something. And I do remember that one time she had an obsession with, well, she smokes, right, and they wanted her to stop, so she just started chewing gum, and that was like her obsession for the episode. So
Oh
that's
my
how I
god.
remember that episode. And that's like, yeah, this is, for me, this was just like another episode of the show where Krayla just obsesses with something. And no, I don't know. It's just like so irrelevant. I I imagine if I watched it as a kid, I would have think the same way. I don't think anyone has a fun memories of a Patches London Adventure.
Do you think
Uh,
someone is out there like, yeah, Patch's London Adventure is my favorite Disney sequel? I mean, maybe.
okay, maybe. Um, there, I don't know, but I will have questions for that person, honestly. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we can watch like the Hunchback 2 or Belle's Magical World, and it's so bad that it's memorable. But this one is just like so there. Like it's perfect. Like the way I knew about it was because of a cereal box. It's so irrelevant. It's like, yeah. And about the story, about, okay, objectively, um, eh, it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon
Yeah.
special, and that's it. Um, Lil Lightning was cute, although he was the villain, but I liked seeing a Disney corgi.
Yeah.
Uh, that's my highlight.
Even though he's
That's,
evil.
even though he's evil, he's still a corgi, and corgis can't be evil, so he's going to redeem himself later in life
Like
because
Kylo
corgis
Ren.
can't be evil. Of course.
101 Dalmatians 3, Little Linings Redemption.
Yeah, because yeah, redemption is done in part threes. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah,
I'll speak it
exactly.
into
Yeah.
the world, it might happen.
Maybe. Who knows?
um, I don't know what else to say. Just continue talking, Gina.
Okay.
It's just like not relevant
I,
for me at all.
yeah, I definitely agree. Like it does feel like irrelevant because honestly, like the plot, like I put plot like quote unquote because it's not really like a
Mm.
whole plot. I mean it is, but it's not
It's like
it's not a movie plot,
it's like
you know?
many different silly plots.
Yeah, because you have like Patch not feeling like good enough, and then you have Thunderbolt. I guess kind of you can make the case that he's kind of in the same place as Patch because he knows that he's like an action hero and he needs to prove himself outside of the world of the show, I guess.
Mhm.
And but
I like how
I
you're trying to go deep into this. I appreciate that.
I'm trying to make a case for it because I think it's just so inoffensive, you know.
Yeah,
It's
it's inoffensive.
something. What I was trying to get at is that it does just feel like a plot for an episode of the show, and I was reading about the movie, and I think there's a part in the IMDb that mentions that there's an episode of the show actually where Lucky comes like has to face the fact that Thunderbolt is not a real dog.
Uh-huh.
Like Thunderbolt is like an actor, like
It's not a real
some kind
dog.
of like he like
Sorry.
Thunderbolt is like just a character,
Yeah,
and
no,
that
I
he has
understood you.
to, yeah, he has to come with the, he has to grow up and understand that he's just an actor and he's not really like that in the real life. And I guess that's an episode of the show, and it's like, well, why, like, I don't know what which one was done first, but why would you repeat this kind of a same
Yeah.
plot, because in the movie canon, I guess, they they have already met Thunderbolt and they know that he's an actor, and
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, but that one has the particularity that Lucky is the protagonist, so maybe
Woo,
I'll check it out.
vindication.
Yeah,
Hey,
maybe I'll check it out.
Lucky.
And I don't really I think I remember the opening theme for the the TV show,
Uh-huh.
because talking about it, I think I remember watching it like on TV, but I don't really have any memories of the show like at all.
Where was the intro like?
Any
Spot,
memories
spot,
at all.
spot,
Like
spot, spot.
maybe, I don't know. I don't remember like the actual song. I just remember like a lot of like all the puppies running around the.
Mm.
Oh, I just remember something that I actually liked.
Uh-huh.
Like the very beginning, the Disney castle shows up, and that the When You Wish Upon a Star theme is barked by the puppy.
Oh, yes, I
Mm.
remember that.
Yeah, it's so like I when that came up, I was like, yes, this is gonna be a good movie.
Oh,
If you just give me all the puppies barking all the
All
time.
the Disney songs.
Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine like just a record of Disney songs barked by puppies? Oh my god, $1 million idea, Disney.
he
And
tricked you.
yes, yeah. I guess what I'm trying to like get at is that the movie is just so inoffensive. It's so middle of the road. It's nothing so scandalous like The Hunchback, like Boss Magical World, and some other movies are coming up like Atlantis and Brother Bear too. Like it does not do a disservice to the original one. I mean, you like Tammy was saying, like maybe some of the characters don't keep the same charm that they had, but overall the second one does not hurt the first one. Like you can just watch the first one and not be bothered by the second one at all. And I have no, I don't know what else to say about it, because
Don't
honestly,
try.
if you
That's all.
if you've never watched it and you're kind of curious at how the story, if you think Dalmatians are cute, I guess maybe, yeah, I watched the second movie. And no, definitely watch it because Lars is amazing, and I do think
Yeah.
that the character animation on Lars is actually like the best part of the movie. And
Lars, my favorite Disney
my
character.
favorite
Lars
Disney
from.
redeemed villain.
Oh my
Like I do think that some work was put into Lars' character. Not gonna
god.
lie, he's actually kind of fun to look at. He's kind of the only one that actually has a personality. And I also like one of the things that I like sincerely like. I think about the movie is like Cruella. I think she's just so batshit insane. Like I love that she just arrives at the art gallery and is immediately like she just witnessed the face of God, just
That's so
watching that
funny. I
black
like that.
spots. Yeah, and she's just so over the top in the movie, and like maybe that kind of hurts the character a little bit, because you can make the case that, oh well, she's not menacing anymore. She's just like a parody of herself, and she
Mhm.
kind of is. But I think it's funny. And if you just go with the mindset, oh, it's a TV show, it's a TV cartoon, and you're like, you kind of just accept it, and it's actually kind of funny. It's like she's just but and she just keeps mentioning things like she was in jail, and she just keeps throwing random comments like that, like my probation and the restraining order.
Yeah.
It's like so funny.
I don't know. I don't know why, but I keep comparing when we're talking about this movie. I just keep comparing it to 102 Dalmatians because that was so great. And
Yeah.
Cruella's descent to madness, like redescent to madness, there it was so well handled and so great, and she was so menacing. And in this one, yeah, this is a cartoon. Like everything is cartoonish. So
Yeah.
okay, whatever.
It's just what
I
you expect out of a cartoon. She's just like going like very big with her hand movements. She goes on top of couches and she yells a lot. And yeah, it's a cartoon.
You know what? I think I like the thing that I like from this movie is that we got to see more of Cruella because I think you can't get enough of Cruella.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So
I'd love to go to Disneyland's Cruella and ask about Lars.
Oh
my
my
God.
God, she will not know what the
Yeah,
hell you're
she won't.
talking
Hey, she
about.
Yeah,
might.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
Like,
she has to do a study.
yeah,
She has
like
to study her character.
if I was playing Cruella at the Disney park, I think I'd watch all the movies that she appears
Yeah.
in, just trying to get material from it.
Exactly.
Can I get close to her and say, "Hey, you really look like Glenn Close"?
Has
Will
anyone
she
ever
like?
told you like that to look like Blank Stuff?
That's funny.
Yeah, I think Cruella. I've never met Cruella at the Disney park, but I think she's one of the most fun characters
She's
because I think
amazing.
she's allowed to say mean things and to like kind of talk like real shit and like she doesn't have to keep up the princess look and the princess like idea
And
of
she
the
can say real
magical
shit. I love that.
and like Cruella can just be there like yeah whatever. Like, yeah. I've seen some great videos of Cruella at the parks and I think she's hilarious. And
I think
I
what I think a friend told me that he was there and Cruella just deezed all over him and said that he was dressing horribly and just roasted him right there and then in Disneyland.
Oh
oh
my
my
gosh.
god, I want Cruella to roast me, please.
Yeah,
Please.
please.
That's all that's missing in my life. Um so
So
I'm trying to come up because here's the thing, like the main plot of the movie actually is that Thunderbolt is trying to to appear that he's actually like a hero and it's like it's like half the movie and it's so irrelevant that I don't think that I even talked about it in, like
I was going
a
to say
lot
we haven't talked about Thunderbolt that much.
because
We don't have to.
yeah like it's just the basic thing that you would guess happened. Like he goes out, like it's kind of like Bolt in that way. I think I have only ever seen Bolt once, but
Wow,
he
you're
has to go out into the real world and try to prove himself like a real hero, like outside of the TV effects and whatever.
Why is this a recurring thing?
I don't know.
Like the animal actor who has to prove himself. That why is this a thing?
But can you believe that Bolt stole from 101
Oh my
Dalmatians
god.
2?
Oh my god. I think that I like this movie better than both anyway. So
Oh my god.
I don't think I've
That's a
ever
hot
seen
take.
Bolt.
yeah, you don't have to.
I've only ever seen it once, and I don't remember a lot of it. So, like, you can imagine how much of an impression it made on me. I think I kind of did like the climax because I think it involved him getting the little girl out of a fire. I guess
Oh,
something like that.
Spoilers,
yeah.
man.
Oh,
Hey.
sorry. Yeah, whatever. You don't have to. I mean, maybe
I'm
you
kidding.
should.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Whatever.
I'm joking.
And so yeah, like whatever. Thunderbolt is like the most irrelevant thing I think in the movie because he's just there to make Patch realize that he is
It's
not.
special.
Yeah, that he's special. That he's not just one of 101. That he is unique because the things like and that I guess if you read it like that his obsession or his love for the show is actually what got him to save his brothers and sisters. So
Mhm.
this real thing that makes like that makes him different is actually the thing that helps everyone, and that's how he
Aww.
realizes that yeah I'm special and whatever.
Aww.
And at the end of the movie, Thunderbolt goes up to Pongo and he's like, "Oh, he's the real deal. Like he's one real hero." And you're like, "Yay!" And
And you
that's
think, where were you, Pongo?
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Where were you?
Driving around London? Like, having some fingers and mash. Like, where were they?
Yeah.
Sorry.
They were driving a double-decker bus. Like,
I can't believe Finding Dory stole from 101 Dalmatians
oh
too.
God, you're right. You're right. The animals take the double-decker, like the animals in Dory.
Yeah,
Guys, 101
guys.
Dalmatians 2 is so groundbreaking.
So for a lot of things.
Or maybe it's just that it's generic and that's why everyone has already done something like that.
Yeah.
I guess. But no, let's go with groundbreaking.
Great.
So I don't know. I'm just trying to keep scrapping the topic because I don't know what else to say about the movie. But let's do you guys have anything else to say? Because if you don't, I don't know. I think Tammy has a lot of frustration that inside of her
I don't
that she
know what's
hasn't let
wrong.
out.
I don't know what it's with me. It's the animal movies. Like I think I didn't like.
Those kind of do something for you because you like earlier you were like, oh, but this movie has no stakes. But then for like Cinderella 2 is like, oh no, it doesn't have a lot of stakes, but that's
Yeah,
okay because
I
it's
don't know what it is with the animal movies that I'm just like I hate the sequels. Like I don't think I like Lady and the Tramp too. I think it's I don't know, maybe it's because like what I said, like it's I loved being in the dog's world and the sequels don't do that. And you know, with the human movies, you're not. I mean, you don't they don't do that extra thing in the original. I feel
Yeah.
like you know because it's humans.
Because
But
we're
yeah, we're humans. We're already in our world. But I think
Yeah.
that's the kicker. Like I just get so sucked in to that world because I always love that kind of stuff when they so I just like when they make little details to immerse you into different kinds of worlds like with the Twilight Bark with the rescuers and they
yeah.
have all these little machineries with like takeout boxes and pins and stuff like that like that's my thing and or with the Disney fairy movies when they show you how they
Oh yes.
yeah, they make all the furniture with all these little things that you recognize, but then you can see how they make it work for them. Or like in something, this is a Ghibli film, but The Secret World of Arrietty is like a Thumbelina story. They do the same exact thing. They're living in this house and they make all these little objects that we know and love, or I don't know, love, but all that we know work for them for their size. So I just love, that's my favorite thing about animated movies. Whenever I
World
see that.
building.
That's like literally my favorite thing. So I think I love being immersed in a different world and seeing that be taken away and tried on and just
So.
yeah. I think it like it gets me in a different way.
I get it. No, I think that I have one thing to say. The fake English accents, the fake British accents, they were so funny to me because they were so fake. They were trying their best, but why do they get all American actors to play British characters?
Why couldn't they just get British actors?
I know.
Right, like the original one.
I don't know.
Just like I don't think it's that hard to get British actors.
Is it like a budget thing? I don't know. Is it
And then
cheaper?
like an expense they
maybe-
couldn't because it was a sequel.
Yeah,
They're-
and then you know that these movies are animated like in Australia and Korea and places like overseas and maybe to get people from Britain to record lines and then send it to the other countries. Maybe that's like I don't know exactly what's the process. Maybe they were just like, meh, why bother?
I don't know.
And they're like, we can totally fake it. Nobody will realize. Nobody will care. Nobody's gonna watch this movie.
Nobody's gonna make a podcast about the Disney sequels.
They're gonna call us out in 2019. Nobody will remember that movie by then.
They didn't count on our
They were
wits.
Boo Boo the Fool. We got you. You lazy bums. Anyway, so do you guys have anything else to say about the movie before we jump over to rating and the thing that we do with if it's an upgrade or a downgrade?
Sure, I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, so let's go around the table once more and talk about if it's an upgrade or a downgrade. I think this is going to be very surprising for us all, Tammy.
It's a downgrade. It's just
Period.
It's a damn like it's just like I think I've said enough about it already. It's a damn
Okay.
for me.
Andy?
Well, it is definitely an upgrade, and because the story, no, it's a downgrade. I didn't even know what to say about that. No, it's a
You
downgrade.
tried though.
Yeah, I think this movie is actually just like the epitome of literally like taking something like original and then just don't knowing what to do with them with
Yeah.
it, and then just doing the most generic random thing just to make a cartoon out of it, and literally just make everything a cartoon, make everything exaggerated, whatever. And yeah, I think it's a downgrade on all senses. It's a downgrade on the characters and the world building, as Tammy was saying, and it's just like, but I also like it's so inoffensive, that it's, I don't even know if it's like actually a downgrade. It's just like there, a grade.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
It's not up or down. It's just grade.
It's a grade.
Like
You can say that.
it
We should make
exists.
we should make a new rating. It's
It's just a grade.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
it's a
gonna
grade.
gonna go for.
That's it. That's the title for this episode.
Okay, so you guys have your ratings
Yes.
I do.
for the movie?
Yeah, I wish this was 100 and none
Okay, you go.
Dalmatians too.
That's good.
Thank you.
That was clever.
Wow. Harsh.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Me,
And Andy?
I give it one spot out of 101 Dalmatians that have spots. I don't know how many spots would that be.
Amazing.
That's adorable.
That's actually amazing. I will give it 101 ways to die of boredom.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
That's
Two.
super clever. Two.
We're getting better at this.
Yeah, I just came up with it like right
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's actually like a quick one, and like I knew that it was gonna be a quick one because there's really not
There's
much.
nothing.
There's no meat in there, There's nothing juicy to talk about in this movie because it's literally just a great.
There was a reason why we had this really long time to get to it, because it doesn't invite you to even make fun of it,
Yeah, that was the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But next week actually is one that is going to be very, very tough to talk about and interesting, because next week, or whatever week you're going to listen the next one in, it's Atlantis, The Lost Empire, and its
Ooh.
sequel. I don't remember
I'm
what
kind
the
of
title-
excited for this one.
I haven't
I don't
watched
know.
that movie in a long time. Like
Me too. Like I loved it as a kid. I'm not gonna lie, and I want to see if I still like it.
Honestly, that's part of the next episode. I was gonna tell my story about Atlantis, but
No.
I realized no, that's for the next podcast.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're here. We don't have time because
No.
we have things to do. But I was like, well, this was so quick. Let's just do Atlantis.
I'm kind of excited. I'm really excited.
I'm nervous because I remember not liking the sequel at all. So it's gonna be
It'll be interesting, and I'm actually gonna watch it back because like this is the first time I've watched them back to back.
I actually have the
liked it.
Blu-ray. I bought the Blu-ray for Atlantis, and it came with the
Oh.
absolute delight that it has the sequel with it, of course.
Ooh.
Oh my
And
god.
so I watched when I bought the Blu-ray and I watched the original one, I was like, well, I never watched the sequel, so let's watch it. And then yeah. And that's for the next episode what I thought of the sequel, and that's it.
Okay.
I'm excited. I hope watching it back to back doesn't make me hate it as much.
I wouldn't put money on it.
I kind of dig it. So we're
Okay,
gonna. I haven't watched it in like 10 years or maybe even longer.
Yeah.
So.
Well. Yeah. Amazing.
And I love Atlantis. I love Atlantis so much.
Me too. It's gonna be. This is gonna be fun to talk about Atlantis. At the very least, like the very first half of the episode is gonna be very fun.
That's gonna be our 3-hour episode.
Yeah,
A lot of
why
shit
not?
happened in Atlantis too. Like it's just like isn't it like 3, 4 different
Yeah.
TV episodes
It's
in one or something?
it's
Yeah.
like Bell's Magical World like that
Yeah,
that has like different stories. Yeah.
but better.
Maybe, who knows? I don't. I
Probably.
haven't watched that in years. And well, we will figure it out on the next episode. So I think for now that's it. Guys,
Yeah.
Yeah.
guys have anything else to add, to say, to talk about before we go?
No.
Watch 101 Dalmatians.
Two.
No.
No, yeah, just want to watch and watch the live action ones. Maybe you'll find something interesting.
And adopt Don't Shop.
What?
Adopt Don't Shop.
Oh, yeah, same.
Okay.
But don't adopt 99 dogs.
I mean, if you can.
I mean, yeah, but only
Just
if you have
imagine the poop.
plantations.
Oh my
no.
Imagine the
God.
poop.
Oh no.
If you have the ability to move to a plantation, maybe yeah, have 99 dogs. But if you
Yeah,
don't,
you got the space, but you still gotta clean up all the poop.
I
No, I'm
mean,
just
not
gonna-
if you teach them to poop very far away from the plantation.
That's a good
and then
point.
you don't have to worry about it.
I'm just remembering because when my aunt's dog had like 7 puppies or 5 puppies, like so did I tell you this story? They were like all we as a family, my aunt, my uncle, my cousins, and my parents were watching the puppies, and they were so cute. They were all drinking from their mom's like teats at the same time, and it was the cutest thing. And then literally 5 seconds later, they all started pooping at the same time, and it was horrible. Which I get it. They all ate at this. I gotta send you the video. I
Oh
think
my
I
god!
it's the video of them drinking. I don't think I got the video of them pooping, but
Okay.
we were freaking out. We were screaming. We were like, I think they're pooping. I think that one's pooping. And we're like, I think that one's pooping. Oh my god, they're all pooping.
Yeah,
Dog poop.
that was
don't
a
want
beautiful
99.
story to wrap up the episode.
You don't want 99 of them. You don't.
On that note.
Feel free to edit that out.
No, we're gonna leave it because I think it's really fun. It was a fun story. It's more fun than the actual movie we just watched. And yeah, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And remember that you can send us a tweet at TwoDivisionPod on Twitter. You can send us an email at twodivisionpodcast@gmail.com. Remember to leave a review on iTunes, and it really does help to get people to find the show easier. And just send your comments, your questions, and whatever you wanna ask us and tell us. And we will see you next time. So thank you so much, and that's it. Goodbye. See you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.